Hello, 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 hello. Just wrapped up on Blog Talk Radio. I did not do my live yesterday. I usually try to get in here live Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't know why I didn't do my live yesterday. But I didn't, so I'm going live tonight. I'm going to make this short and sweet because it's 10:32 and I need to put my ass in the bed. But hello. So trust versus expectations versus agreements. I was thinking about this today as I was running through this scenario in my mind. So let's say I'm seeing someone and I want to trust that they will be honest with me, or trust that they will tell me if they're seeing someone else, right? And bear with me because I'm still getting my thoughts together on this, but the thoughts were coming into my head, so maybe by discussing it with you all, I'll get further insight. I think when we're talking about, when we're talking about trust and someone has broken our trust, it's not our trust that they broke, it's that they broke the agreement or the expectation that we had, which is often not said or laid out in a way that both parties are aware of what the expectations or agreements are. So for instance, two people would get into a relationship without really discussing fidelity, monogamy, polyamory. We just always assume, I guess, that the person that we're with is going to be the only person that we're with. So these things aren't discussed. But because of societal expectations, we have this unsaid agreement that this person will then tell us if they are doing something else elsewhere. And when they don't, then they say, well, they broke our trust. So I'm big on knowing and understanding what words mean, because I think it's important. I think a lot of times we use words in the English language and we're not sure what they mean. We just use them because we've always used them. So trust is to have confidence in something. It's to make someone feel strong and safe. It's to rely on someone. That's the basic definition of trust. It comes from some Old Norse meaning to make feel strong and safe. So that's the basic definition of trust, which is fine, except for what it sounds like to me is that when people are looking to trust someone, they're looking to rely on them and they're looking for someone else to make them feel safe, which can be a problem depending on your expectations and agreements. So if I'm a female and I get into a relationship with a man and I'm expecting him to make me feel strong and safe, but I haven't discussed this with him, I haven't told him this is my expectation, I am now hurt and my trust is broken when he does something with someone else, because I, in my mind, had the unwritten, unspoken agreement that the expectation was that he would only be with me. You understand what I'm saying? So, and the reason why I'm breaking it down like this, as nitpicky as it is because we need to get clear on our expectations and agreements in a relationship. That's what it's about. It's not about I trust you, you trust me. It's about what are our expectations and agreements in this relationship. Well, do I expect you to be home by a certain time every night? And if you're not, does this mean there's not an issue with my trust? Because I think a lot of times when we're getting into relationships with the expectation that this person is supposed to fill a void that we have. So I trust that you won't break my heart. Why? Because I've been hurt before, and now I want you to fill the void of the person who loves me. So now I feel like a whole person and my heart is not broken. Trust is not really what we're looking for here. I trust that people are people. I trust that a person is who they are. I trust that sometimes people do really dumb shit. That's just a fact. I trust the fact that human beings sometimes make a lot of mistakes. But for me, thank you. But for me to rely on someone else, and in a sense, takes the trust away from me. So instead of trusting myself, I want to trust someone else. And I'm a female, so I'm going to stick with females. Here's how this works out for females. As a female, I know that the guy that I'm with is seeing other people. Even though I try to act like he's not seeing other people, and I want to trust him. I want to trust him, not trust me, not trust myself, not trust my own instincts, not trust my own intuition, not trust how I feel inside. I want to be able to trust him, so I ignore myself to try to trust him and put the expectations on him. In doing so, we take the focus off of ourselves and we make the other person responsible for our lives. That's what happens when you make trust the thing. You're making the other person now responsible for you. Well, you broke my trust. Did they break your trust, or did they break the agreement? Did they break the expectation? Were they clear on what the expectation was? So I have time issues. I feel like if I'm with a guy, he should be giving me a lot of his time. I don't necessarily want your gifts. I don't want your money. I want the one thing that's extremely valuable. I want your time. And so if you're going to deal with me, you're going to understand that one of my expectations is that I require the time. But this is set up front. Now, what would happen if I didn't say that? If that was my expectation, and this has happened to me, happened not too long ago. My expectation is that you're going to spend time with me. I trust you to spend some time with me. You tell me that we're going to hang out together. And then 4 hours later, you show up. And now I'm pissed. Is it that you broke my trust, or that you broke the expectation that I had? And did I tell you about that expectation? Did you know? Did we have an agreement that this is how our relationship was going to flow? So instead of just looking at, do you trust someone? Are they trustworthy? Can you rely on them? There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's also important to look at what your expectations are of this person. What are your agreements, written or unwritten? And to be honest with the person about that. My phone's dinging. Be honest with them. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I expect. This is the agreement that we're going to have. Don't walk into a relationship and think that it's monogamous because that's what everybody says, if that's not the agreement that you've put on the table. Have you read the 4 agreements? I have read it, sitting on my bookshelf right back there somewhere on that, right above my salt lamp. I've actually read five of his books. They're sitting back there. Part of the 4 agreements. It's not about the trust. Outline your expectations. Outline what it is in your relationship that you're looking for. But of course, in order to do that, you have to know yourself. How can you possibly align with your expectations and agreements if you don't know yourself? Because if you don't, what will happen, especially for the ladies, is you will align your expectations and agreements with what you think is agreeable to him in order to keep him. Not with who you truly are, not with what you truly want, but what's in alignment with what you think he wants to hear so that you can have that man. That will lead to disaster for both of you. You have to take back your power. It is not all up to the man to make you happy, to keep you whatever, to do all of that. It is not about you trusting him. It is about you standing up for what you want, what your expectations are, what you expect from this individual that you're in a relationship with. What is the agreement that you are going to have with them? There's nothing wrong with writing that out. There's nothing wrong with the two of you going through it and saying, I can agree to this, I can't agree to that. When you're in a dom-sub relationship, some of them have little contracts, right? And so you go through and you both agree what's going to happen in the relationship and what's not going to happen in the relationship. It is no different. We're going to agree to be monogamous. We're going to agree that if we're polyamorous, we're going to tell each other about what's going on. We're going to agree to discuss spending at such and such a time. I expect that you will share X, Y, and Z with me. I expect that you will do X, Y, and Z for me, with me, to me. Instead of sitting back going, yeah, I trust him. But he doesn't really, I didn't really tell him what I wanted. I just keep giving him hints. And I trust that he'll get the hints. And then when he doesn't read your mind, I can't believe he didn't know. How could he not know? I dropped all these hints. And men, the same thing for you. The same thing for men, even more so for men. Even more so for men. Because a lot of you brothers are running around out here not being true to who you are or what you want. And you're just trying to keep it low key so you can make her happy. And just like, well, it makes her happy. And so I'm going to just rock with it. But you're miserable. You're fucking miserable. But you weren't honest about your expectations. Well, she didn't give me no head no more. And that's just what it is. So now I got to go to back page. You weren't honest about your expectations. There's nothing wrong with being honest about that up front. This is what I expect to have happen. This is what I desire and what I need in the bedroom. If you are not the woman for that, please do not be with me. What is your agreement? A lot of men are not honest either. And then you sit back wondering why your relationship isn't going the way it is because you've done X, Y, and Z and this, that, and the other. You were not clear on your expectations. You were not clear on what it was that you wanted or desired. You did not make any agreements with this woman. If anything, you probably agreed to do most of what she wanted to do. Instead of focusing on trust, trust is the outcome of the expectations and the agreements. That is what trust is. Trust does not happen in a vacuum. You must be clear on what you expect and what you will agree to. And in order for you to do that, you must get clear on yourself. You cannot tell someone else what you expect to have happen if you have no clue what you want. And sex, finances, spirituality, and family. Those 4 key areas. You have got to be clear on what you want. And it does not mean that you don't change your mind. But at your core, you have got, you know if you want to have kids or not, and you meet this person, male or female, you know. And they're talking about they want kids, and you're like, well, damn, this is a good catch. And you're like, maybe I could do it. I don't really want to, but maybe I could do it. No, they are not for you. They are not for you. Or reevaluate how and why you feel the way you do about children. But don't just do it just to keep them. Sex, spirituality, finances, and family. 4 key areas that everyone should get clear on before they decide what their expectations and agreements are going to be in a relationship. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, I'm going to put a link in the comments below for you to sign up for Sensual Alignment. That's something that I'm putting together, that I'm getting ready, because people have to get clear. Instead of just getting in a relationship, you have to get clear on who you are first. Whatever kind of relationship you're looking for, you have to get clear on who you are first. When you're clear on that, the rest is going to flow to you. Just flow. All right, that's it for tonight. Just think about it. Trust versus expectations versus agreements. If you really get clear on the last 2, and the first one won't be an issue. But stop worrying about trusting somebody. Worry about what you expect. Worry about what you agree to. Start there. All right, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.